Hey, what's up you guys, this is Noah, and today I'm gonna make a video about the different ways to bind your chest. Binding means that you are making your chest flat, or make it look like it's flat. And that's something that a lot of trans guys do and non-binary people. So I'm gonna make this video into two parts. First, I'm gonna talk about the different ways to bind, and then I'm gonna answer all your questions that you asked me on Instagram. The first binder that I ever got was one from Amazon. It was a few years ago, and I wanted something cheap and just to see how it would make me feel. And this is what it looks like. It costs between $8 to $15. I got it from Amazon. You can also buy them on AliExpress. I've seen them on there as well. The nice thing about this thing is that you have these straps, so you can change the size of it a little bit, and they're cheap and they bind pretty well. So that's the good thing about these things. The thing I don't like about them is that they hurt more than other binders. So those are the cheap AliExpress, Amazon type binders. And then there's this Dutch company which is called Neige, and they sell all types of products for trans people, and they also sell binders. I never tried one of them, but that's because I heard that they don't bind that well, so I never really wanted to invest in them. Maybe they've changed their design and they are working now. If you have any experience with Neige, please comment down below and tell us. I never want to invest in something that people described as something that's even worse than a sports bra. So I was like, nope, not gonna try it. But the good thing about it is that they're from the Netherlands, so you have less shipping cost, and also the shipping time is less long, and they cost around 35 to 65 euros. They have different types of binders, so different prices as well. And then there's another company from the UK, and it's called Spectrum Outfitters. They sell tri-top binders. I don't have one, but I've seen some videos about it, and I've seen Kovo Kingsrod making a video about them, so I'll link that down below as well. And they look really good, and they are 35 pounds, so I think 38 to 40 euros. Good thing about these binders is that it's owned by trans people, and from what I've seen, they work really well, and you have less shipping costs and no import tax if you live in the European Union. Then there's another Dutch company called Alpha Shapewear, and that's the binder I'm wearing right now. I really like this binder. It's custom made, so I sent the company my measurements, and they made a binder that is perfect for my own body type. So they're handmade, they bind really well. They cost 55 euros, and you have around 3 euros shipping costs, so it's a good price compared to GC2B, which is around the same price if you include shipping and import tax. I made a full length review about this binder, so if you want to check it out, link is down below. Yeah, but I really like it. And then there's my other favorite brand, which is GC2B. GC2B makes tri-tops and full tank top binders. They bind really well, they're very breathable, they are more flexible, if that makes sense. The only negative thing about it is that it takes a long time to get to the European Union. So for me, I live in the Netherlands, so I had to wait a few weeks before they got in, and the shipping costs and the import tax are quite high. The thing I did was I bought binders for myself and my friends, so we could split the cost for shipping and import tax, and yeah, in that way you can save money. And then there are alternative ways to bind, and the two ways that I know of are sports tape and wearing two sports bras at the same time. I've used sports tape a few times. It was quite nice sometimes to wear a tank top like this and only have tape, because a binder is quite visible and tape is more concealing, I would say. Keep in mind that I have a very small chest, so it works well for my chest, but I've heard that people with larger chests, it's harder to use tape because, you have to tape a lot and it doesn't really work that well. But I've used it a couple times. I prefer KT tape over regular sports tape just because it's a bit more flexible. The only con to this is that it's quite expensive. I got it from Amazon, I think, and it was around $20 or something like that. So it's quite expensive to keep buying that and use it, so I just stuck with regular binders. And then there is wearing two sports bras at the same time. So one you put on how you would normally put on a sports bra, and the other one do it the other way around. For some people this has worked. I tried it, but it didn't work for my chest, so yeah, that's my experience with that. But maybe it works, and if you get cheap sports bras, then it's a cheap way to bind, so it's worth trying, and if it works, then good for you. So now we've come to the Q&A part. So on Instagram, I asked you if you had any questions about binding. If you don't follow me, my Instagram is noah.hella. And these are the questions that you asked me. So let's do it. First question is GCTB or Alpha Shapewear. And like I said, I like both of them. They're equally nice. They're the same price. Yeah. Experience on binding with tape. So yeah, I've had some experience. It's quite good. I used it for going to the beach a few times, and I used one strip on each side for the gym, and then I'll put a tank top over it and then another sweater thing just to conceal it. But yeah, I've used it a few times. What brand of binder do you recommend? For how long do you bind? So I've been binding for 3 years now, maybe a bit less. And I would recommend Alpha Shapewear or GCTB. After testosterone, do you need a smaller binder? So personally for me, I needed a bigger binder because I got broader and the binders that I used to have were a medium and they were just too tight. So I got a large and it worked really well for me and it still did the job. So no, I actually needed a bigger binder. Binding while swimming. So GCTB officially said that it's safe to bind, to wear their binders and to swim. I've done it many times and was fine. So yeah, just go for it. Someone is asking how to bind safely without a binder. There's no safe way to bind. Like, I have back problems because of binding, but it's choosing between two bad things. It's like either you bind or you are more dysphoric than is good for you. So I would go for binding. But it's not a healthy thing in general, I believe. Some people say it's fine, but I don't know. It doesn't feel healthy, You see me doing this all the time. It's because my neck is hurting and my back is hurting just because of binding for so long. So yeah, it's whatever. You need to do it because otherwise there's no way I'm going outside. How does binding after surgery work? Like how long, what binders? So after surgery, you need to wear a binder or like a surgical vest. I got one of my old binders and made a little zipper in it. Well, I didn't do it myself. I cannot do that, but someone else did. And it helps for the swelling. And I think I need to wear it for around 3 weeks or something. And yeah, that's how that works. What's the best way to put one on? I always do it like this. So here you have a binder. This one's from GCTB. And I just put my hands in it like that. I never work two binders over each other. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. And then you just put it on like you would normally put on a shirt. So that's how you put one on. And this is how you take it off. Yeah, that's it. Does it have to hurt or doesn't it bind well enough if it doesn't hurt? I don't think it's a good thing when it's hurting. It should just work and it should fit your body. On the different websites for binders you have size charts, so you need to measure yourself first before you buy a size, and never go down a size because it doesn't bind better. Like I said, like I used to have a medium and then I had a large and it worked just as well, even better because I had more room to breathe. So and it was just the same effect. So always go with the right size and never go a size down. My friend Emma is asking, how are you going to get rid of your binders in 3 days? So I have my top surgery in 2 days actually. And yeah, I'm using one of my binders as a post-op binder. And the other binders, I think I will burn one of them, which is like completely worn and you don't want to have that as a giveaway. And the other ones I will give away. I think it's a very nice thing to do. So yeah. Hey Noah, is there a substitute to bind when working out? So there are various ways to bind when you're working out. So what I do is I put on sports tape first, one strip on each side. And then I put on a tank top like this. And then I wear a sweater or a hoodie just, to conceal a little bit more. And that's how I work out and, don't feel completely shit about myself. How to avoid getting the mono boob while wearing a binder, for example, GC2B. Yeah, that's a thing. I've seen people like putting their boobs like one on this side and one on the other side. Maybe that works, or up or down, I don't know. But there's no way around it. Just wear hoodies or, you know, thick shirts so you won't see it as well. That's a whole other topic, but when I was wearing very thin shirts, it really showed. But when I was wearing thicker shirts, it's much better. Tips for keeping everything in the right place while moving a lot. Well, a binder keeps everything in one place. That's the point. So I don't really get this question. Which binders last the longest? I don't know. Like, I've had G2B binders for 2 years and they're still working. I've had this Alpha Shapewear binder for a few months and they're still fine. Also, the ones from Amazon still work, so yeah, all of them still work. Do you know anything about how binding for too long can lead to scar tissue on your pec muscles? No, I've never heard about this before, so I don't know. Never heard anyone talk about this before, so I'm curious. What did it feel like when you put on a binder for the first time? It was amazing, truly. Seeing myself in a binder was... It's crazy. Like, you see yourself, and it's weird because, you know, you always see yourself, but you really don't as a trans person. So wearing a binder and then wearing clothes, like, I knew this was right. It felt weird because it's so constricting, even more than a sports bra, but I was like, fuck it. Like, this is so much better than anything this is it's amazing. It was really amazing. Is there anything else you use alongside binding to help flatten stuff? So, wearing a lot of t-shirts works, wearing hoodies. How long can you bind for? Some people say 6 hours, some people say 8 hours. And G2B said 8 hours, but if you think about that, you will never make it through the whole day. Like, I have a night job, so I need to make sure that I don't bind during the day, but that also means that I cannot go outside, and sometimes I need to go outside. So then I end up binding for way too long, and that's probably also one of the reasons why my chest is fucked up right now, but there's no other way for me right now. But yeah, the recommended time is 8 hours. What's your worst binding experience, and how did you overcome the dysphoria whilst you couldn't bind? I think binding while I was also sleeping was horrible. I did it because there was someone sleeping over at my house, and I just couldn't take it off. Yeah, it's a really bad thing to do, so don't do it. It hurt. And how did you overcome the dysphoria whilst you couldn't bind? When I'm alone in a house, I can go on about my day without a binder if I don't do something physical, because if I feel that I have them, then I get really grossed out. But it's fine when I'm alone. But how to overcome dysphoria? I just put one on whenever I feel dysphoric, and then I'm good. Like, it's not perfect, but it's fine. It's a really hard thing to overcome dysphoria. Like, there are ways to deal with it, but it's like, I'm trying to distract myself, I guess, listen to some music, talk to my friends, that kind of thing. Do you have tips for any guys with bigger chests? Bigger chests are a real pain in the ass. I've had a friend who had a very big chest, and G2B binders wouldn't work. What I've heard from Alpha Shapewear is that they can deal with that. I would say try it out. Maybe it works for you. But apart from that, like, I don't really know because I have a very small chest. But I suggest do some research, go on Reddit, Tumblr, YouTube, and see what people have come up with, because you're probably not the only one with the same problem. Anyways, those were all the questions. I hope this was helpful. If you have any tips for other people, comment them down below. And I hope to see you all next time. Later.